Good day. My name is Desiree Marie M. Hembrador, and I will be doing the checkpoint exam for modules 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the CPE118-42L. So, refer to the exhibit. A network administrator is configuring inter-VLAN routing on a network. For now, only one VLAN is being used, but more will be added soon. What is the missing parameter that is shown as a highlighted question mark in the graphic? Ooh, um, it identifies the type of encapsulation is used. It identifies the sub interface. It identifies the VLAN number. I think it identifies the VLAN number because the completed command would be encapsulation DOT1Q7, and the encapsulation DOT1Q part of the command enables trunking and identifies the type of trunking to use. The 7 identifies the VLAN number. So next. A network administrator issues the show VLAN brief command while troubleshooting a user super ticket. What output will be displayed? The VLAN assignment and membership for device MAC address, the VLAN assignment and trunking encapsulation, the VLAN assignment, and membership. I think it's this one. Because the show VLAN brief command will provide information displaying the VLAN assignment and membership for all switch ports on a switch. So question number 3. Which two statements are correct with respect to SVI inter-VLAN routing? Choose two. SVIs can be bundled into other channels. There is no need for a connection to a router. Switching packets is faster with SVI. Virtual interfaces support sub-interfaces. SVIs eliminate the need of default gateway in the host. I think switching packets is faster than SVI, and there is no need for a connection to a router because the SVI inter-VLAN routing method is faster than the other methods. The switch can route the existing VLANs without the need for a router. Next is which type of VLAN is used to designate which traffic is untagged when crossing a trunk port. Default management native data. I think it's native. Which solution would help a college alleviate network congestion due to collisions? I forward connects the two internet providers, a router with 3 Ethernet ports, a router with 2 Ethernet ports, a high port density switch. Yeah, because a high port density switch provides very fast connectivity for many devices. So it won't have network congestion. So question 6. Refer to the exhibit. The network administrator wants to configure switch 1 to allow SSH connections and prohibit telnet connections. How should the network administrator change the display con- config H version 1, like modify the transport input command, reconfigure the RSA key, configure SSH. I think it's modify the transport input command. So for the PT activity, which message is displayed when 10.10.10.1 is entered into a PC1 web browser address bar. So question 8, refer to the exhibit. A network administrator has configured R1 as shown. When the administrator checks the status of the serial interface, the interface is shown as being administratively down. What additional command must be entered on the serial interface of R1 to bring the interface? Mm, I think it's no shutdown. Because by default, all the router's interfaces are shut down. To bring the interfaces up, an administrator must issue the no shutdown command in the interface mode. If one end of an Ethernet connection is configured for full duplex and the other end of the connection is configured for half duplex, where would late collisions be observed? On both ends, on the full duplex, on serial interfaces, I think it's on the half duplex. After which step of the switch boot up sequence is the boot leader executed? Mm, I think it's the post after the post execution. Which protocol adds security to remote connections? SSH, POP, HTTP, HTTP. I think it's SSH. Which switch characteristic helps keep traffic local and alleviates network congestion? Passport speed, fast internal switching, large frame buffers. I think it's high port density. Refer to the exhibit. A switch receives a layer 2 frame that contains a source MAC address of 000B.A023 P501 and the destination MAC address. List switch steps in order they occur. Hmm. So for the occurs first, it's the switch adds the source MAC address to the MAC address table, then the occurs second because the destination is not known. What information is added to the switch table from incoming frames? Source MAC address and incoming port number, source IP address and incoming port number, destination IP address, destination MAC address. I think it's source MAC address. because a switch forwards the frame onward based on the destination MAC address. Which statement is correct about the Ethernet switch from forwarding decisions? Frame forwarding decisions are based on MAC address and port mappings in the CAM table. Unicast frames are always forwarded regardless of the destination MAC address. Cut-through frame forwarding ensures that invalid frames are always dropped. Only frames with a broadcast destination address are forwarded out of active switch ports. I think its frame forwarding decisions are based on MAC address and port mappings in the CAM table. What is the significant difference between a hub and a layer 2 LAN switch? Each port, a hub device collision domains, a hub frames, a hub extends a collision domain, and the switch device collision domains. Which switch component reduces the amount of packet handling time inside the switch? It's ISIC. Which switching method ensures that the incoming frame is error free before forwarding? FCS fragment free start and forward cut through at its start and forward. Refer to the exhibit in what switch mode should port 301 be assigned if Cisco best practices are being used? Hmm. Trunk. Because the router is used to route between the two VLANs, the switch port G01 needs to be configured in trunk mode. Refer to the exhibit. All workstations are configured correctly in VLAN 20. Uh, Workstations that are connected to switch SW1 are not able to send traffic to workstations on SW2. What would be done to remedy the problem? I think it's allow VLAN 20 on the trunk link. Merge the DTP mode with its function. For the negotiate, requires manual configuration of trunking or non-trunking. Dynamic auto is for the passively waits for the neighbor to initiate trunking for the trunk, permanent trunking mode, and dynamic desirable activity attempts. On a switch that is configured with multiple VLANs, which command will remove only VLAN 100 from the switch? It's switch config no VLAN 100. A network contains multiple VLANs spanning multiple switches. What happens when a device in VLAN 20 sends a broadcast Ethernet frame. Only devices in VLAN 20 see the frame. Devices in VLAN 20 in the management VLAN see the frame. Only devices that are connected to the local switch see the frame. All devices in all VLANs see the frame. I think only devices in VLANs 20 see the frame. Refer to the exhibit. A technician is programming switch SW3 to manage voice and data traffic through port FA020. What if anything is wrong? What if anything is wrong with the configuration? The command used to assign the voice VLAN to the switch port is incorrect. The MLQ's database here. There's something. I think this one. Which command displays the encapsulation type, the voice VLAN ID, and the access mode VLAN for the FA01 interface? Port FA011 will be shut down. An error message would be displayed. VLAN 30 will be deleted. Port FA011 will be returned to VLAN 1. Under which two occasions should an administrator disable DTP while managing a local area network? Choose two. On links that should dynamically attempt trunking when connecting a Cisco switch to a non-Cisco switch, on links that should not be trunking, when neighbor switches uses a DTP mode, no, only these two. Next question, a high school uses VLAN 15 for the laboratory network and VLAN 30 for the faculty network. What is required to enable communication between these two VLANs while using the router on a stick approach? Probably a switch with a port that is configured as a trunk is needed when connecting to the router. Refer to the exhibit. What is the cause of the error that is displayed in the configuration of inter-VLAN users? Inter-VLAN routing on the router Ciscoville. Probably the encapsulation DOTQ20 command has not been configured. Refer to the exhibit below. A router on a stick configuration was implemented for VLANs 15, 30, and 45. According to the show running config command output, PCs on VLAN 45 that are using the 172.16.45.0/24 network are having trouble connecting to PCs on VLAN 30 in the 172.16.30.0/24 network. Which error is most likely causing the problem? Probably there is an incorrect IP address configured in gigabit Ethernet 00.30. Refer to the exhibit. A network administrator is configuring RT1 for inter-VLAN routing. The switch is configured correctly and is functional. Host 1, host 2, and host 3 cannot communicate with each other based on the router configuration. What is causing the problem? Hmm. Each subinterface, FA, no update, no shutdown commands, routers, interface, FA missing IP address on the subinterface are incorrect. Oh, yeah, it's incorrectly matched. So next, refer to the exhibit. A network administrator has configured the router Ciscoville with the above commands to provide inter-VLAN routing. What type of port will be required on a switch that is connected to GI00 on router Ciscoville to allow inter-VLAN routing? Uh, Probably trunk port. A technician is configuring a new Cisco 2960 switch. What is the effect of issuing the branch SW config shutdown command? Um, Probably it disables a virtual and physical switch interface. What type of VLAN supports untag traffic? Native VLAN? Probably native VLAN. Yes. Oh, nice. So that's it for the CW2. Thank you.